What if your deepest fears and most crippling anxieties aren't just products of this life, but shadows cast by traumas from lives long past? The concept of past lives isn't new, but the potential dark implications are rarely discussed. From unexplained phobias to toxic relationship patterns, the echoes of previous existences might be silently shaping your reality. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden, often troubling aspects of reincarnation that mainstream spirituality glosses over. You might find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about your soul's journey. As we peel back the layers of this complex topic, remember, knowledge is power. Understanding these potential dark influences doesn't mean you're doomed to suffer from them. Instead, it's the first step towards breaking free from cycles that might have been binding you for lifetimes. Let's explore the shadows of the past. 1. The trauma time bomb. You're going about your day when suddenly, out of nowhere, panic grips you. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and you're filled with an inexplicable sense of dread. Sound familiar? What if these seemingly random anxiety attacks aren't random at all, but the detonation of trauma bombs planted in past lives? Dr. Brian Weiss, a prominent past life regression therapist, has worked with numerous patients whose debilitating anxiety and panic disorders seem to have no root in their current life experiences. In his book, Many Lives, Many Masters, he describes a patient whose crippling fear of water disappeared after recalling a drowning incident from a past life. But it's not just individual traumas we're dealing with. Collective traumas from historical events could be ticking time bombs in our psyche. A study published in the Journal of Transpersonal Psychology found that 37% of people who believe in past lives report experiencing intense, unexplained emotional reactions to certain historical events or periods. Think about it. Do you feel an inexplicable heaviness when you hear about certain historical atrocities? Or perhaps you have an intense, irrational fear of something that's statistically unlikely to harm you, like plane crashes or rare diseases. These could be echoes of past life traumas, waiting to explode into your current reality. 2. The karmic debt collector. Ever feel like you're being punished for something but you can't figure out what? Like the universe has it out for you no matter how hard you try to do the right thing? Welcome to the world of karmic debt, where the sins of your past lives might be coming back to haunt you. In many Eastern philosophies, karma is seen as a cosmic system of justice, where our actions in one life determine our circumstances in the next. But here's the kicker. What if you're paying for crimes you don't even remember committing? Dr. Michael Newton, a hypnotherapist who specialized in past life regressions, encountered numerous cases where people's current life struggles seem to be direct consequences of actions in previous lives. In his book, Journey of Souls, he describes a man who struggled with poverty despite his best efforts. Under hypnosis, the man recalled a past life where he had been a wealthy merchant who exploited the poor. But it's not just about punishment. Karmic debt can manifest in more subtle ways. Do you find yourself in the same toxic relationships over and over? Or perhaps you're drawn to a particular type of person, even though they're clearly bad for you. This could be your soul trying to resolve unfinished business from a past life. A survey conducted by the Reincarnation Research Center found that 62% of people who believe in past lives feel they're working through karmic debts in their current life. Of those, 78% reported recurring patterns in relationships or life circumstances that they couldn't explain. 3. The soul contract trap. You know that feeling when you meet someone and instantly click? Or maybe it's the opposite, an immediate, intense dislike for no apparent reason. What if these weren't just random encounters, but pre-planned meetings set up by your soul before you were even born? The concept of soul contracts suggests that we make agreements with other souls before incarnating, planning out key relationships and events in our lives. Sounds romantic, right? But there's a dark side to these spiritual prenups that most people don't talk about. Dr. Linda Backman, a licensed psychologist and regression therapist, has worked with many clients who've uncovered troubling soul contracts. In her book, The Evolving Soul, she describes cases where people found themselves bound to abusive relationships or stuck in unfulfilling careers due to pre-life agreements. The real kicker: these contracts aren't always made with your best interests in mind. Sometimes they're made by a soul that's still working through its own issues, locking you into situations that might be detrimental to your growth in this life. A study published in the Journal of Transpersonal Psychology found that 53% of people who believe in soul contracts report feeling stuck in certain relationships or life situations. Of those, 67% felt these situations were harmful to their well-being, but struggled to break free. 4. The relationship rerun. You've done it again. Fallen for the same type of person, ended up in the same toxic dynamic, wondering how you could possibly make the same mistake. Again. But what if it's not a mistake? What if you're actually reliving a script that's been playing out over multiple lifetimes? Dr. Brian Weiss, in his book Only Love is Real, describes numerous cases of patients who found themselves repeatedly drawn to the same souls, lifetime after lifetime, often recreating the same dynamics and struggles. While this might sound romantic, it can actually be a trap, keeping you stuck in cycles of pain and unfulfillment. The dark side of these past life connections is that they can override your current life's needs and desires. You might find yourself inexplicably drawn to someone who's clearly wrong for you, or unable to leave a relationship that's clearly toxic. Think about your own relationship patterns. Do you always end up with the same type of partner, despite your best efforts to choose differently? Do you find yourself playing out the same conflicts, having the same arguments, no matter who you're with? These could be signs that you're caught in a past life relationship loop. The real danger here isn't just the pain of repeated heartbreak. It's the way these patterns can prevent you from forming healthy, fulfilling relationships in your current life. You're so busy trying to resolve past life issues that you miss out on the connections that could truly help you grow. But awareness is the first step to breaking free. By recognizing these patterns for what they are, echoes of past lives, you can start to make conscious choices about your relationships rather than being pulled along by the invisible strings of karmic connections. 5. The skill stagnation syndrome. You've mastered a skill, reached the top of your field, and you're miserable. Sound familiar? What if your expertise isn't just the result of hard work in this life, but a carryover from past lives that's actually holding you back? Dr. Ian Stevenson, in his extensive research on children who remembered past lives, documented numerous cases of individuals with skills or knowledge that seemed to come from nowhere. While this might seem like a blessing, it can actually lead to a form of spiritual stagnation. Imagine your soul has been a musician for the last 5 lifetimes. In this life, you're a musical prodigy, effortlessly playing complex pieces and composing beautiful music. But what if your soul actually needs to learn humility or experience the struggle of mastering something new? Your past life skills might be preventing you from the growth experiences your soul actually needs. A study conducted by the Institute of Noetic Sciences found that 47% of people who believe they have past life skills report feeling stuck or unfulfilled in their area of expertise. Of those, 69% felt pressured to continue in their field of mastery, even when it no longer brought them joy. Think about your own life. Are there areas where you excel effortlessly, but find no real satisfaction? Do you feel guilty when you consider abandoning a skill you're naturally good at? These could be signs of skill stagnation syndrome. 6. The karmic catch-22. You're trying to be a good person, to make ethical choices, to treat others with kindness. But somehow, you keep ending up in situations where you feel forced to act against your principles. Welcome to the karmic catch-22, where your past life debts might be setting you up for moral dilemmas in this one. Dr. Linda Bachman, in her work with past life regressions, has encountered numerous cases where individuals found themselves repeatedly facing ethical challenges that seemed designed to test their resolve. It's as if their souls had set up these scenarios to work through past life transgressions. But here's the dark twist. These karmic tests can sometimes feel like no-win situations. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Choose one path and you feel guilty for not helping others. Choose another, and you feel like you're sacrificing your own well-being. A study published in the Journal of Transpersonal Psychology found that 56% of people who believe in karma report feeling frequently torn between conflicting moral obligations. Of those, 73% felt that no matter what choice they made, they were accumulating negative karma. Do you often find yourself in situations where all options seem morally questionable? Do you feel like you're constantly being tested, forced to choose between conflicting values or obligations? These could be signs that you're caught in a karmic catch-22. The real danger of this karmic conundrum isn't just the stress it causes in the moment. It's the way it can lead to a sort of ethical paralysis, where you're so afraid of making the wrong choice that you stop making choices altogether. Or worse, you might find yourself becoming cynical, believing that no matter what you do, you can't win karmically. The point of these karmic tests isn't to trap you, but to help you evolve. By recognizing these situations for what they are, opportunities for growth rather than no-win scenarios, you can approach them with a different mindset. Instead of focusing on the right or wrong choice, focus on making decisions with awareness and compassion, both for yourself and others. 7. The soul group straitjacket. You've heard of soulmates and soul groups, the idea that certain souls travel together through multiple lifetimes, playing different roles in each other's lives. Sounds beautiful, right? But what if these soul connections are actually holding you back, keeping you trapped in old patterns, and preventing you from forming new, potentially more growth-inducing relationships? Imagine your soul agreed to be the caretaker for another soul over multiple lifetimes. In this life, you find yourself constantly drawn into caretaking roles, even when they're detrimental to your own well-being. You can't seem to break free from these dynamics, even when you consciously try to set boundaries. A survey conducted by the Reincarnation Research Center found that 64% of people who believe in soul groups report feeling obligated to maintain certain relationships, even when they're no longer healthy or beneficial. Of those, 79% felt that these obligations were preventing them from forming new, potentially more positive connections. Do you have people in your life who you feel inexplicably bound to, even when the relationship is clearly toxic? Do you find it nearly impossible to cut ties with certain individuals, no matter how many times they let you down? These could be signs that you're caught in a soul group straitjacket. The real danger of these soul group binds isn't just the immediate pain of dysfunctional relationships. It's the way they can prevent you from forming new connections and experiencing different types of relationships that might be crucial for your growth in this lifetime. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.